Hello and welcome to Unique Coding Heroes. So today's tutorial we are going to continue our discussion with a 204 dump, and on the discussion for 204 dump examination dump we have already shared some important questions in the earlier video. So we will continue with our we will continue next to our video and keep continuing the questions which we were discussing. So like in the earlier example, we had discussed so many problems, like questions which are going to come. So today's lecture, we are going to discuss the topic which are. So the questions which we are going to discuss, those are very important on point of view of exam, because while working, I came across this question because I am a certified 20 like 204 certified. So while preparing for 20 certified, like I come across like this kind of videos are very important and helpful for you. So yeah, being keeping in that in mind, I created this. So let's get started. Yeah, so you have a two Hyper-V host named Host1 Host2. Host1 has an Azure virtual machine VM1 that was developed by using custom range resource manager template. You need to move VM1 to host 2. What you should do? So in that case we have four options, but yeah, but the correct answer is C. From the we should redeploy the blade and click redeploy. That is it's correct option. So yeah, so once you redeploy, it will move VM1 content to VS to host 2. So yeah, and there's a reference as well. I will give the reference in chat, in the comment section, so you can read and understand. So yeah, let's move on to next question. So the next question is a drag and drop. Basically, you have to drag the correct answer to the right section. So in Microsoft certification, you will come across these kind of questions. So many places, like where you have to kind of like drag the correct answer to right section, or arrange it in a correct section. So yeah, the question is, you have downloaded a resource manager template to deploy numerous virtual machine. The template is used on a current virtual machine, but the must be adapted to the reference administrative password. So you need to make sure that password is not stored in the plain text. You are preparing to create necessary component to achieve your goal. Which the following should create to achieve your goal, and answer should be tracking to the right. So first you have to have a Azure key vault, and you have a access policy. So this too is important to kind of like must be adapted to make sure that you make sure that your password is not stored in the plain text. So you have to store it in a Azure key vault and access policy. Yeah, moving ahead, like the next question is like, your company has an Azure AKS service, Azure Kubernetes Services cluster that you manage from a Azure AD-joined device. The cluster is located in a resource group. Now, developer has created an application named some app, and app has some package installed in the image. So you need to deploy the YAML manifest file for the application. So how you can do so? To do that, you have to install Azure CLI on the device, and you have to run the command like kuber kuber and apply f my app.yml command. So will it meet the goal to deploy that app into AKS? Okay, so yeah, it's correct only. So yes, you can go with option A, which is yes, because we have to like when we define something this command, so it will apply the configuration genders to a resource file, and then yeah, so like this you can deploy your so it's correct only. So company has a AKS cluster that manage your from AD-joined device. The cluster is located in a resource group, and developers has created an application called my app. Now my app was packaged into a container in image. You need to deploy an YAML manifest file for the application. So the solution is you have to install Docker client on the device and run the Docker run run and using this Microsoft CLI. Does it meet the goal? No. The option is no, because this is not the way we create we create uh, we manage a AD-joined. Okay, so my app was packaged in a container, and you are want to deploy the YAML manifest. So this is the wrong process. You don't follow. You cannot follow this. Okay. Now, moving on to next question. Your company has a web app named App1. You use web job SDK to design a triggered web app service background task that automatically invokes function in the code every time the data is received in the queue. You are preparing to configure the service process in a queue data item. Which of the following is service you should use? So you want to use web job SDK to design a triggered app background. So web job is the application which you can use. Uh, like yeah, this is the correct one, because web job is mostly used for web job SDK to design a trigger app service background that automatically invokes a function in the code every time a new data is received in the code. So B is the correct answer. Yeah, the next question is your company has an Azure subscription. You need to deploy a number of virtual machines to the subscription by using Azure Resource template. The virtual machine will be included in a single availability set. You need to ensure that ARM template allow for a many virtual machines as possible to remain accessible in the event of fabric failure of maintenance. Which is the following value that you should configure for platform fault depend domain account property. So in that case, you can use max value. The number of vault domain for a managed availability sets varies by region, either two or three. You can check in the reference. So this reference I will share in the chat. Yeah, this is like the correct one. So the D is a max value you have to set. Okay. So the next one, your company has an Azure subscription. You need to deploy a number of virtual machine to subscription by using Azure's resource template. The virtual machine will be included in a single availability set. You need to ensure that ARM template for all virtual machines as possible to remain accessible in the event of fabric failure or maintenance. Which of the following is the value that you should configure for platform update domain count property? So yeah, D is the correct answer. So each virtual machine in your availability set is assigned to update domain and a fault domain by the underlying Azure platform for a given availability set. Five non-user configuration update domain as assigned to default. So resource manager deployment can be increased by 20 up to 20 depend to indicate the group of virtual machines and underlying physical hardware that can be booted at the same time. So you can have a maximum 40. So yeah, so uh, we can configure 40 platform domain. So count properly. So this is the D is the correct answer. So yeah. So again, there's a drag and drop question. So you're creating an Azure Cosmos DB account that makes use of SQL API. Data will be added to the account every day by web application. Okay, you need to insert the email notification sent to the information received by IoT device, and the compute cost is reduced. You decide a deploy. Uh, you decide to deploy a function which you should configure the function app use powered by dragging. Correct answer you should be there. So first of all, you have a consumption plan, and then you send grid binding. So this is like you must have. So this cost will be reduced, and you can deploy a function as well. And there will be emails notification is sent, which is received by which information received by IoT devices, and then that compute the cost is reduced. So the question requires that you evaluate the and determine if it is correct. Yeah, like okay, so your company has a premises deployment of MongoDB and Azure Cosmos DB. A content makes your MongoDB API. You need to devise a strategy to migrate MongoDB to DB Cosmos account. So you include data management API gateway tool in the migration strategy. Now, review the underlined text. If it makes statement correct, then select no is required. If statement is incorrect, select this. So makes makes the choice correct. So it should be a Mongo store. Okay, Mongo store basically where you can easily move your MongoDB like and to MongoDB content to like Cosmos DB account. You can migrate easily using uh, a Mongo restore kind of service in Azure. So reference I will be giving you reference here. The reference for that reference I will be providing. You are developing an e-commerce web app. You want to use Azure Key Vault to ensure sign-in e-commerce are secured by kind of like a service authentication and AD. What type of e-commerce app? So what should you do on the e-commerce app? So we should enable the MSI managed service identity. So basically, managed service identity will like kind of it will ensure that sign in to e-commerce app are secured by using the web using a Azure App Service authentication and Azure Active Directory. So you should do on the e-commerce app basically enable the MSI. So C is the correct answer. Moving on to next question. Your Azure AD directory tenant has an Azure subscription linked to it. Your developer has created a multiple application that obtain AD access token using OAuth implement granted. The mobile application must be registered in Azure AD. You require to indirect a URI from developer for registration purpose. So review the under text. If it makes statement correct, then select node change. If change is required, then select as a kind of like what changes are required. So Azure Active Tenant has an Azure subscription linked to it. Your developer has created a multiple mobile application that obtain AD access token using OAuth. The mobile application must be registered to AD. You require a redirect URI from developer for registration purpose. Yes, it's correct. So no change is required. So this is the correct answer. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching today's this question. These are very important questions. Recently asked question. When I was giving exam, I come across this kind of question, and questions are really matching. So if you see, the questions will be mostly like when you are sitting for exam. If you going through this questions is going to come into the exam, and moving on to the next tutorial, we will be coming with more videos like this same question. So I will be giving at most 50 questions which are very important, and I request you to crack if you want to crack the interview, go to this question, and yeah, you will be successful in your certification of 204. Later on this video section, we are going to come with 305 as well. So yeah, 305 section of videos which recently I have cleared as AZ-305 as well. So moving on, I will be giving you a good platform to crack this A0 AZ-305 also. So yeah, I'm working on it. So yeah, thank you guys. Don't miss to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.